When I hear people talking about manifestation, I have to admit, as a mental health occupational therapist, I cringe a little bit. I resist, I keep scrolling. I challenged myself to look into this, challenge my assumptions, challenge the concepts, and I have some impressions to share with you. So stay tuned, because I want you to tell me whether or not you think I manifested a keynote speaking opportunity, and I'll share which one. It's really exciting, so you're going to want to stick around. Let's go straight to the deep resistance, why don't we? In my work, I help people who are feeling really stuck and overwhelmed. As a mental health occupational therapist and as a coach of other OTs, I resist the language that blames the person for having natural, expected human experiences. In this article from Oprah Daily entitled How to Manifest Anything You Want or Desire, it's written by Kimberly Zapata. I'll link it in the description. The last few lines are a quote from Marla McKenna, who wrote Manifesting Your Dreams. She writes, "The only thing stopping you from manifesting your dreams is you. What you can visualize in your mind, you can hold in your hands. So get to work, you have manifesting to do." I tend to use softer, more compassionate language with the clients I work with, both as an OT and as a coach. And this is in part due to the nature of the people who are drawn to working with me. These are often people who need to learn a lot of self-compassion, who feel criticism intensely, and are struggling with self-doubt. My people don't want to be directly told that it's their fault, so get on with it. They need more supportive empowerment to get into action. So if you're my people, please comment "my people" below, and of course subscribe, hit the notification button, and all that jazz. The message, "the only thing stopping you is you, so get to work," isn't wrong in content, it's just not the best delivery for me or the people I serve. If it works for you, all the power to you. So okay, I have more resistance to share. Hang in there, manifestors. I get to supporting many of the concepts soon. I kind of resist the magical spin on long-standing evidence-based practices. There's clinical evidence to support many of the concepts in the process of manifestation. Somewhere along the line, someone made it fresh and spiritual and rebranded it. So listen up, budding OT entrepreneurs. You've got so much knowledge that people want to hear. Make it fresh, put it out there. Challenge that comes with something like the concept of manifestation is when people dilute the idea and miss the components that actually work. In this case, it's not just asking the universe to provide, as some might assume, it's actually doing the work to make it happen. Now, full transparency, I have not invested in learning the ins and outs of manifestation or law of attraction. I'm going off a few things I've read, including this Oprah Daily article. And I'm bringing into it my extensive clinical education, which I've invested a lot in. I'm sure there's a lot more to manifestation than I talk about here. Cool? Cool. In the article, Angelina Lombard, the author of A Spiritual Entrepreneur, says, manifesting is making everything you want to feel and experience a reality via your thoughts, actions, beliefs, and emotions. This sounds a lot like the basic tenets of most psychological frames of reference: goal attainment, thoughts, actions, beliefs, emotions. Okay, I'm with you, Angelina. Actions was even italicized. Yes, I'm really down with that. They go on to say, to start manifesting, be clear about your goals. Make your intention as specific as possible. Okay, yep, that's good stuff. The research supports setting specific goals. The article then goes on to suggest you ask the universe for what you want. And the author suggests a few different ways you can do this: prayer, meditation, visualization, speaking your intentions out loud, a vision board, a future box, or writing your intention down. Okay, I'm with you. Externalizing the goal and reminding yourself what you're working toward regularly is valuable in motivating the effort to take towards action towards these objectives. Is it spirituality or a placebo effect at work in creating the belief that you'll be empowered by the universe if you take these steps? That's personal. I'll leave that up to you to decide based on your spiritual values. But still, you have to do the work. Take the steps, which is the next point in the article. Start working towards your goals. Brilliant. I'm all in on this one, of course. You will not see any results without taking action. The author suggests you take note of the steps you'll take to reach your goals and build them into your routine. Double yes. This is something I do with my clients, both in my mental health OT practice and in my practice coaching other OTs. Do the thing, take the steps, even small ones, but keep moving in the direction of your goal or intention. I tend to talk a lot about making sure your goals, intentions, and actions are aligned with your values, and I use the Activate Vitality Personal Development Planner to help build awareness and routines that support success. There will be a link in the description for that. So okay, I'm feeling this manifestation thing all right now. The article says that the next step is to be mindful and thankful for what you receive. Yep, there's a lot of scientific research that supports practicing mindfulness and gratitude. Next, she says, let go of any resistance and limiting beliefs. Can we just let them go? Man, I'd be out of work if it was that easy. They say to change your mindset and behaviors, remove any obstacles or limiting beliefs which cloud your vision, including negative self-talk. Resistance returning, blame and oversimplification alert. In the article, Oprah is quoted as saying, telling yourself you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, you're not smart enough, you're not enough. It's a tape that's playing for a lot of people. If you're not conscious of that, then you end up acting out that belief system and not what you know to be the truest or want to be the truest of yourself. You don't become what you want because so much of wanting is about living in the space of what you don't have. Okay, Oprah, I got you there. That's truth. Not good enough thinking does distress most of us at some point and is in the way of a lot of the clients I help. The article goes on to describe a solution for this, which is actually a well-known CBT technique, creating a thought record, noting negative thoughts and reframing them positively. Well, they actually say in the article, cross out limiting beliefs and write your new affirmations down, but I'll avoid splitting hairs. I do expand on it in this video. I tend to address challenging thought patterns with acceptance and commitment therapy, and with specifically a concept of cognitive diffusion. Essentially not buying into it when our minds naturally do this not good enough thinking and move toward a valued action. There are many ways to approach difficult thoughts when we're getting out of our comfort zone. Another video on that over here. Then Zapata's article talks about checking and changing your energy. Okay, it says what we put out, we get back. Okay, fair enough. This idea of raising your vibrations is a little woo, but I like the idea of striving to do something that picks you up just a little from where you are, baby stepping it. The things they list in the article are well supported in research, in fact. Doing something kind for people, for someone else, meditation, yoga, time in nature, self-care, and compassion. These do improve our feelings of well-being. The scientist in me wants to cite a million journal articles that support these exact things, but this is YouTube, and if you want to geek out, I'm all for it. Dive into the journal articles, you won't be disappointed. Heck, you can even share the article links in the comments below if you find them. It won't likely use terms like vibrational energy in the scientific journals, but the idea of doing these things to feel, think, and do better is strongly supported. The Oprah Daily article goes on to talk about being flexible and trusting the process. Angelina Lombardo is quoted as saying, trust your actions, visions, and clarity, as well as the powers that be. I tend to think of this concept as trust your actions, values, goals, and have faith. Similar, just one little notch down on the woo factor. And truly, if your spiritual beliefs aren't aligned with this, just staying on track with your actions toward a goal that's important to you will lead to great outcomes. They talk about an abundance mindset, and this actually makes a lot of sense to me. When we are fused with the thought that there's not enough out there for all of us, we often behave in ways that don't support our success. In fact, giving, sharing, building, and supporting others helps us feel good and usually leads to collaborations and relationships that teach us more than if we behave protectively, as though we need to compete with the others for the same piece of pie. Let's just make more pie. Abundance pie. So remember when I told you my resistance was illustrated in the last section of the article? It looks a little different now that I've looked at the whole thing through my perspective as a clinician. The author says the fastest way to manifest something you want is getting clear on what you want and taking action. Well, dang, isn't that what we OTs are trying to support other people in doing every day? Set an important goal and work toward it? Who knew we were teaching manifesting all along? Based on my training, I'm inclined to change the end of the article to say, you have the power to change your circumstance and live a meaningful life that's aligned with your values. So get clear and get into action. Am I going to start using the language of manifestation in my work, telling the OTs I support to manifest the business and passion projects that they've been dreaming of? Probably not. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, helping them get unstuck by becoming more mindfully aware, building self-compassion, clarifying values, setting goals, taking action, and addressing the thoughts and feelings that limit their action. Tomato, tomato. So I want you to tell me in the comments, would you say I manifested a keynote speaking opportunity at a summit I was just excited to attend? Here are the details. I set a goal of building a scalable portion of my business 3 years ago. I visualized what life would look like if I could work fewer days per week without sacrificing financially. There might be a hippie van involved in this visualization. I signed up for courses, coaching, and listened to 1 million audiobooks and webinars. I figured out who I wanted to help. I built a prototype of a program, ran it, all while coping with all the imposter monster and self-doubt gremlins that came up regularly. I built relationships. I supported my OT community online authentically and generously. I attended summits and conferences, dealt with more gremlins. I revised the prototype. I ran it again. I spoke on podcasts and on webinars. I revised and launched, evolved the program, and I dealt with more thought and feeling gremlins. I got louder on social media. I launched a YouTube channel. Hi, thanks for being here. And then I was asked to be a keynote speaker at the upcoming OT Entrepreneur Summit. I'm so excited. So comment below, let me know if you'd say I manifested the summit keynote opportunity, or if you'd call it something different. And check out this video next, and don't forget to come to the summit.